How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Buddy's Book Club. This is a new series I decided to start to just talk about books. They'll mainly be book reviews, but they can be spoofs, mini documentaries, or just anything that has to do with the written word. Most of these aren't going to be fine literature or anything like that, they're just going to be books that I find interesting. The reason I decided to start this series is because I want to start reading more, and I think making these videos will help keep me accountable to that. This year I plan to read at least 12 books and make a video about the book I read at the end of each month. With that said, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you know when I post new videos, and if you leave this video a thumbs up, it really helps me out a lot. Without further ado, let's get started with our first book. It Came from Ohio. It Came from Ohio is a collection of mysterious, creepy, or unexplained stories from the Buckeye State. Published in 2012 by James Renner, this short book details 13 mysteriously true, or supposedly true, stories of the supernatural. For the book being as short as it is, it's only about 100 pages, it doesn't go into super great detail about each of the stories, but it gives a good general overview of everything. Not only is it historical research, but it also has interviews from people that were involved, and it talks about how the story affects the world today. Each chapter is only about 7 or 8 pages, so you could easily read the book in a couple hours, or you could just do what I did and just read a new story every night. Since there are only 13 stories, I can't go over all of them in detail, but I will highlight some of the ones that are my favorites. Plus, since all the stories are so short, I recommend that you go and read them for yourselves. So here are just a few of my personal favorites, and to make it fun, I'm going to do it in the style of one of my favorite mystery shows. If you can guess what show this is, leave it below in the comments. The first of these stories I'll go over is The Legend of Red Eyes. Our story begins in 1929 at Camp Manitowoc at the Cuyahoga County National Park. During a hike with a young troop of Boy Scouts, a camp ranger died unexpectedly. This ranger had no close friends or family, so the troop decided to bury him themselves. Unfortunately, they only had child-sized coffins. I think it's kind of weird that they just had coffins on standby, but I guess this was during the Great Depression, so I don't know. In order to get the ranger to fit inside of the small coffin, they had to crudely chop the body into pieces and completely remove the head. The coffin was buried, but the whereabouts of the head are unknown. Legend goes that the decapitated head still floats around in the forest today trying to find his body, and if you look carefully at night, you can still see his glowing red eyes. One interesting thing to note about this story that sets it apart from the rest is that this unexplained occurrence has not only been terrorizing campgoers for years, but it is also a creature that has been seen firsthand by our author James Renner when he was a child at that camp. Nowadays, variations of this story are still told to troops that stay at Camp Manitowoc. Mainly, it's used by the counselors and older scouts as a way to scare children into staying inside at night. Because, I can't think of a better way to keep kids inside. I mean, why not psychologically damage them into thinking some crazy decapitated head is wandering around in the forest? It's not like they have Xboxes or anything. Another notable story deals with the legendary Loveland Frog, who happens to grace the cover of the book. This legend focuses mainly on a sighting from 1972 where a police officer, Ray Shockey, noticed what he believed to be a dead or sick dog laying on the side of the road. To his horror, he realized that this was no dog as the creature shot up and jumped across the road in front of his police car. Shockey described the creature as being 3 to 5 feet tall, with leathery skin and a distinct frog-like face. So, me, pretty much. Shockey's partner, Mark Matthews, encountered the creature a few weeks later, and even took a shot at the monster, but he wasn't quick enough. Sightings of the Loveland Frog date all the way back to 1696 by French missionaries who were warned by Native Americans about a river demon. This demon is known as the Shanahawk. Shanahawk, Babadook, I don't know. Is the Loveland Frog a supernatural being like the Indians suggested, or is it a species of reptile that is yet to be properly discovered and studied? Well, probably neither, but it makes for a good story. But I've saved the best of these stories for last, the Mothman. On November 14th, 1966 in Salem, Ohio, Newell Partridge's TV was making bizarre noises and made his dog Bandit start to flip out. Confused, he took the dog outside to see what was the matter. Horrifyingly, he noticed 2 beaming red lights off into the field and Bandit took off after it. Partridge called for his companion to come back, but the dog and the red lights mysteriously vanished. He found Bandit a few miles away on the side of the road dead, and his body completely drained of blood. Sorry to put that image in your head, people. I'm just telling it like I see him. The next evening, another dead dog was discovered by 2 young couples on the side of the road, but this time the dog wasn't alone. From the inside of their car, they spotted a horrifying creature that was about 7 feet tall, with giant wings that looked like a bat, and 2 big eyes like automobile reflectors. Startled, the group sped away in their car, but the creature quickly chased after them. Although they claimed they sped up to over 100 miles per hour, the creature was able to keep up with them for some time before they escaped. Over the next year, there were hundreds of reported sightings of the Mothman, and the most famous encounter with this mythical creature is also the most tragic. It all went down on December 15, 1967, when the Silver Bridge that connects Ohio to West Virginia collapsed over the Ohio River. It has been reported that the Mothman was seen standing on top of the bridge and caused the collapse. This horrific incident caused the death of 46 people, 2 of which were never found. So I guess he just ate them. Or even better, he brought them back to his lair for a Mothman burger with some Mothman sauce. After this, all sightings of the Mothman stopped, and it was never seen again. Some speculate that the Mothman was actually just a very large owl, but some say that the Mothman is an ancient harbinger of doom, like something out of the Bible. Although most of the original sightings of the Mothman were from Ohio, the town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia claims the Mothman as their official monster. This small town is the home of the official Mothman Museum and Research Facility, a 12-foot metallic statue, and they even host a huge festival every year in the Mothman's honor. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm from Ohio, but isn't it a little screwed up that West Virginia kind of stole our monster? I mean, we should at least be able to split it half and half because the bridge collapsed between both of our states. It's only fair. I want a cool museum. No one truly knows what happened all of those years ago. Is the Mothman actually responsible for the collapse of the Silver Bridge? Are the sightings true, or just the work of overactive imaginations? All I know is, the legend of the Mothman still permeates today, and will live on for years to come. Well, that was fun. Anyway, back to the book itself. The writing in this flows really well, so it makes it a fantastic read not only for adults, but for young adults and children as well, if they're not going to get too scared. If I did have anything to complain about at all, I wish that the book was a little bit longer and there were a few more stories thrown in. But hey, I guess that leaves it open for a sequel. The author James Renner has a few books to his name. Most of them are true crime stories, and in his spare time he's a serial killer hunter, and he's even been featured on an episode of Expedition Unknown. I look forward to whatever James puts out in the future, and it would be really interesting to talk to him about this kind of stuff. If you can get your hands on a copy, I highly recommend It Came From Ohio. It's only about $4 on Amazon, and I think if you get it used, it'll probably be even cheaper, so it's definitely worth every penny. Turn on a nightlight, lock your doors, and enjoy. Well, that's about all I have to say. Thank you guys for checking out the first episode of Buddy's Book Club. Let me know down in the comments what I should read next. If you haven't already, it would really help me out a lot if you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Also, you can click the links on the screen to watch some of my other videos. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you back next month with another episode of Buddy's Book Club.